Happy Tuesday! Hope your week is starting off on a good start. So again, I have Carly and Canoa with me today to help me out. So if they have any questions, they may speak up. So just kind of give a different spin on like demoing and showing the different postures. So if you read today's description, today we're going to work on shoulders, upper back, chest. It's going to be a nice heart opening practice, but that's going to be the main focus. So even though we'll be moving our whole bodies, we're going to specifically focus on these areas. So we're going to get started on our mat here, legs together.
Back a little bit. Back, yeah. Okay. So she has that frequent move side to side.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
All right. So sitting on your shins with your knees together, draw your belly in, long spine, and take a couple of shoulder rolls, just letting the shoulders roll down your back, just releasing any tension or tightness you might be holding on there. Once you've done that a couple of times, just go ahead and sit tall. Begin to close your eyes. Rest your hands lightly on the tops of your legs. We'll take a moment here just to center. Letting go of today's stresses, not worrying about what's happening the rest of the week. Allowing ourselves to be present. Take inventory of how your body feels. Take a moment to notice your breath. How are you breathing? As we sit here in stillness, take this time, this opportunity to really lengthen and deepen your breath. Use your lungs to the fullest capacity. So as you inhale through your nose, feel as your belly expands, ribcage begins to widen, collarbones broaden. When you get to the very top, hold that breath. See if you can sip in just a little bit more air. And as you exhale, let your belly contract towards your spine. Let all of that air out. You'll keep this breath in and out through your nose throughout your whole practice. And lastly, notice what's going on in your mind. Any thoughts are starting to work their way in. Acknowledge them and then let them go, knowing that right now this hour is for you and you alone. Another couple full breaths. And slowly begin to open up your eyes, letting that light in. Then taking your hands, let's reach them up overhead, gathering all that energy up at the top, palms touch. And as you exhale, bring your hands down to your heart. As you breathe in deeply, hands go up towards the sky, and exhale, arms come down. Interlace your fingers behind you. Pull your knuckles towards the ground as you puff up through your chest, gaze looks up. Nice shoulder stretch. Another breath here. And then as you come through center, keeping a hold of your hands, you're going to take your hands over to the right side. So if this is too much, you can also just let that right arm go. You can grab onto the right arm. Try to see if you can get that stretch, really pulling here on that left side, opening up through the chest. As you breathe, again, just taking notice of what comes up. Are you holding on to tension? Are you holding on? Clenching your jaw, clenching your upper body, just let it relax. And Slowly release from that side, and you're going to take that over to the left. Nice stretch on the other side. Relaxing the shoulders down. With the breath, go ahead and bring your hands back through center. One more nice arch in that back. And then releasing your hands down beside you. Let's transition to all fours or tabletop, excuse me. So once you arrive, hands and shoulders in line, knees in line with your hips. We'll take some cat-cow. So as you inhale, drop your belly, shoulders back, gaze up. As you exhale, push your mat away, curling through your upper body, gaze looks down. Slowly inhale, come back to your cow pose. And as you exhale, pushing against the floor, rounding through that upper body. So take that a couple more times, getting that flexion and extension of your back, releasing any of low back tension, any pressure that you may be feeling, getting the back prepared, the body ready for practice. Knowing you can also incorporate a little bit more movement here, maybe going back and forth or side to side, whatever feels good for you. But really focusing on that breath, using that breath to guide you through this movement. Nice, look good. And when you're ready, come back to a neutral spine. And you're going to slowly begin to lower your upper body down, keeping your hips stacked over your knees, coming to puppy pose. So forehead's going to reach towards the mat, long back, perfect. Hips in line with knees. You guys look great. And let there feel length in your fingertips, almost like you're trying to pull yourself forward, but your hips stay in place. So you should get a really nice stretch underneath the armpit area, that chest area. Take a couple of breaths here, just loosening up, again, warming up the body. Perfect, kind of, yes, I like to put a little movement to side, so feel free to rock those hips a little bit, or make any adjustments or movements that you need. And then when you're ready, slowly, you're going to pull yourself through. So you're going to come towards your belly. Legs are going to be long in front of you. And you're going to come up to your forearms. This is Sphinx pose. So your hip bones are nice and grounded into the mat. And there is a force almost that you're lifting against the floor to pull those shoulders back. So it's really active. We're not slumping here in the posture. Tops of your feet are pressed into the floor. And slowly you can begin to, with the fluid movement, look over your right shoulder. Then pull your head through center, look over your left. Back through center, let your head dip down. Back through center, let your gaze look up. Let's do that one more time, each direction, over to the right, over to the left, back through center, down, and back through center, look up. Bring your gaze back forward. You're going to shift yourself back to that tabletop position. Curl your toes under and lift your hips high, downward facing dog. So take a few breaths here, pedal out your feet, get some looseness in the backs of your legs. Great. What did you say? Oh. I'm just gonna look at the chat real quick, don't mind me. All right, then. I see it. Thank you. Still getting used to this technology. All right, continuing your breath. Now push against your mat so you really lengthen through your back. Hips are high. Begin to allow your heels to settle down towards your mat. And then slowly we're going to walk our feet to meet our hands, coming to a forward fold at the top of your mat. And when you arrive, you're going to heel toe your feet out to be the length of your mat. Heels are going to come in, toes point out. And just let your body drop down. Head, neck, and shoulders are going to go down towards the floor. You can put a little micro bend in the knees. And then sway from side to side or grabbing on for opposite elbows. Let your body ragdoll from side to side. Remember to breathe. And allow your shoulder, your head, your neck to be really heavy here so you're not lifting that head up to see anything, but really allowing it to drop down. Once you do that a few times, come back through center. You're going to place your right hand onto your mat right in front of your face, and as you inhale, lift your left hand up, taking a twist. Perfect. Your gaze can look up or down. Feel like someone's reaching up through your hand, almost like you're trying to touch something. Yeah, a lot of extension. And then with your breath, allow that hand to drop, and then you're going to take it over to the other side, twisting in the other direction. Another breath here. And then hand comes down. You're going to bend your knees, sitting your hips back. Allow your hands to come to your upper thighs. So you're in this narrow lunge or squat position. With a breath, feel length through your back. As you exhale, you're going to dip that left shoulder down, look over your right. Take your breath, draw your belly in as you come back through center and over to the other side. Let's do that again. So using your breath back through center one more time, over to the right. And then taking it slowly over to the left. Back through center. Allow your hands to come down to the mat. Heel toe your feet together. So your feet come to touch, legs up together. Inhale, half lift. Hands are going to come to shins or upper thighs. Push against your legs, long back, gaze looks down. Breathe. And then release. Inhale, arms circle up overhead, palms touch at the top. Exhale, hands down to your heart. Close your eyes, one full breath in. Remember your center. Exhale, eyes open. Interlace your fingers, except your pointer fingers. Send your hands high, breathing in as you breathe out, tip over to the right side. Nice stretch in the side ribs. You can bump out that left hip a little bit if you need to, if you need more space. Allow your shoulders to relax. Back through center. Over to the other side. So firm foundation. Your feet are rooted into the ground. Legs squeeze together. And then back through center. Allow your arms to come down to your sides. Once again, interlacing those hands behind you, and then taking a little back bend. Inhale, breathe, open up through the chest. Keeping your hands interlaced. As you come through center, allow yourself to hinge from your hips, dropping down to your forward fold. One more breath. And release your hands down to your mat. You're going to step one foot back and then the other, coming to high plank. If you want more of a challenge, stay in high plank, or you can lower your knees down for support. Now pull your belly in, breathe, strong arms. And as you exhale, lower your body all the way down. Hands underneath your shoulders, inhale up to cobra. Exhale to release. Inhale, lift your body back up to your high plank. And exhale, downward facing dog. Great job. Take a breath. Beautiful. On your next breath, you're going to raise your right leg behind you for three-legged dog. Level off the hips. Toes are going to point down, foot flexed. Great job. As you breathe in, lengthen. As you breathe out, step that right foot forward in between your hands. Lower your left knee down. Low lunge. Once you feel stable and steady, begin to lift your body up, fingertips to the sky. Take a full breath here. Full breath out. On your next inhale, lengthen through your fingertips. As you exhale, hands come down to your mat. You're going to lift your left knee and inhale, take your twist, right fingertips to the sky. Same as we did in the very beginning, trying to keep your shoulders in line, nice length with your hand, almost like you're reaching up to grab something. Release your hand down and step back to your downward facing dog. Take one full inhale, one full exhale. On your next breath, we're going to take it over to the left side, so the left leg lifts. Hips level, toes point down. Good job, guys. Breathe in. As you breathe out, step that left foot forward, lower right knee. When you feel stable and grounded, hands come up, low lunge. Feel length as you breathe in, and a release as you breathe out. Using our breath to breathe, and then lowering your hands down and taking your twist on your other side. So right knee lifts, this left fingertips reach towards the sky. And if you want to leave that knee down, that's perfectly fine. Take another breath here. Release your hands, step back to downward facing dog. When you're ready, we're going to inhale that right leg up again. Exhale, step your right foot forward. This time, ground that left foot down onto your mat. And you're going to open up your arms to the side, coming to warrior two. Nice lunge and that front knee, not going past your ankle, slightly behind or in line. You want that front heel to be in line with your back heel or back arch, and strong arms out to a T. Yeah, you want a little bit of grip in your back foot. So you want to press into that four corners of your foot, so that big toe side, pinky toe side, two spots in the back of your heel, so much so that it almost lifts your arch a little bit. So nice strong foundation, that leg still working. Good lunge on that right leg. Breathing here. As you breathe out, you're going to flip that front arm open, straighten through that front leg, and come to reverse warrior. Yeah, I think I know you're just going to straighten that front leg. Perfect. Yep. So again, there should be this nice long line from your fingertips all the way down to your toes. Nice long reach, shoulders relaxed. And then you'll come back to your warrior two. Take a breath. As you exhale, your forearm comes down to your thigh and your left fingertips reach towards the sky. This is extended side angle. So be careful not to dump onto that forearm. You want still that lift, that length coming from the body, and that openness in your chest. Using your breath, come back through warrior two. And then you're going to cartwheel your hands down, step back to your high plank. Keeping your knees lifted or knees down for support, breathe in and slowly lower yourself all the way down to your mat. As you inhale, you're going to lift up to cobra. So shoulders relax back, gaze looks forward. And as you exhale, release. Inhale back to your high plank. And exhale, downward facing dog. Wonderful. On the next breath, we're going to raise left knee back behind. One-legged dog. Three-legged dog. Excuse me. One-legged dog would be pretty funny. As you breathe, step your foot forward. We're going to lower that right heel as we open up to our warrior two. Yep, perfect. Yeah. Nice deep lunge in that front leg. Just taking a moment to find the alignment, what feels good for you. Trying to stack hips in line with shoulders. Arms strong, shoulder blades squeeze towards one another. Deep lunge. Looking forward, keep breathing. We're gonna flip that hand up and over, coming to reverse warrior. So straighten that, reverse triangle. I am really having a day today. Gaze can look up or down. Let that tension go, exactly. And then come back through warrior two, and then all the way to your extended side angle. So forearm to thigh, fingertips reach the sky. Yes. So fingertips spread, almost like you're giving someone a high five. Breathe back through to warrior two. Cartwheel the arms down, come back to your high plank hold. Belly draws in as you lower all the way down. Inhale to cobra. Exhale, release. Inhale, body up to high plank. And exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath here or get some water or take a moment to get into child's pose. We're going to run through that sequence again. We're just going to add on another little element before we take it to more of like a stretch and forward. How are you guys feeling? Tight.
It's
like I hear kind of a breathing, so that's very good. All right, Lynn, even though I can't see you, I'm hoping you're good. I'm trying to check the chat, so if you write anything, I'll keep an eye out. All right, when you guys are ready, join me back to downward facing dog. Take a breath in, raising that right leg, three-legged dog. Exhale, step your right foot forward. Left heel comes down as you open up to your warrior two. Strong legs, strong arms, breathe. As you inhale, you're going to reach up and over, straightening the front leg, reverse triangle. This time, arms come back to the horizon. Keep that leg straight. You're going to reach forward with that front arm. Once you can't reach anymore, you're going to tip your body down to triangle pose. So right fingertips towards your foot, left fingertips high. And let that hand rest wherever it needs to be. So I know you're perfect. Carly, you look great. And again, just trying to stack those shoulders in one long line. Gaze can look down if you have a lot of tension in your neck, or you can take your gaze up. Breathing here. And as you breathe out, you're going to come back to your warrior two. And then drop that forearm down, extended side angle. And a couple of options with your extended side angle. So you can keep that forearm on your thigh. You can take that right hand down to the mat. You could also open up a little bit further through the chest if you want to take that right arm and take a half bind. So you would just wrap that hand behind your back. Yeah, so that would go right. Perfect. Yep. I want to just pull that left foot. Yeah, beautiful. All right. Legs should be working. Everything should be feeling pretty good right now, hopefully. Woo. And then come back to your warrior two. Take a breath. Cartwheel those arms down, step back to your high plank. Hold, lower all the way down. Inhale through cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Last time, inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step your foot through. Ground that back heel as you open up to your warrior two. Breathing here. See if you can go a little bit deeper in that lunge. Also take notice if that knee wants to kind of sickle forward, pull that knee back. Inhale, reach up and over, reverse triangle. So front leg straightens, nice reach. And then coming back through center, keeping that front leg straight. You're gonna reach all the way with your left fingertips. Once you can't reach anymore, tick-tock the body down, triangle. I like to imagine my body between two panes of glass so everything seems stacked. Shoulders are in line. Using your breath, come back to your warrior two. And then taking your choice of wide angle so you can keep that forearm down on your thigh, hand can reach down to the mat. You can also take that half bind with that top arm. So whatever feels right for you. And each side is different, each day is different, so it may feel pretty flexible one day, might not feel flexible the next. That's why it's a practice. All about finding that balance, that strength, and using your breath. One more breath, you guys. And when you're ready, come back to warrior two. Hold. Cartwheel those arms down, step back, high plank. Lower all the way to your belly. Inhale to cobra. Exhale, release. Inhale, curl your toes under, push all the way up to your high plank. And then back to downward facing dog. Take a moment here to lower your knees. Toes come in towards together as you open up your legs, that it's comfortable, and take a wide leg child's pose. And use this opportunity if you need some water. Just let the breath slow a little bit. Wag out those hips if you need to. Pre-COVID, this would be the perfect time to do like a nice assist, pushing on the low back. That's like my favorite, but we're not allowed to touch each other anymore. So, when you're ready, one last time, come up to your downward facing dog. As you inhale, you're gonna slowly walk your feet to meet your hands, coming back to your forward fold. As you inhale, hands draw to your legs, halfway lift. And exhale to release. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, release. Next, inhale, arms circle up overhead, palms set to the top. And exhale, hands down to your heart. Bring your feet together. As you inhale, fingertips go forward, arms straight. Exhale, shift your hips back for chair pose. So upper body slightly lifted. There's a slight tuck in your tailbone to avoid like that big sway back. Yes, just a longer line in your spine. And your hips pull back as your knees stay together. You should be able to see your feet. Let's take a breath. And then inhale, release up. Fingertips to the sky. Arms are going to come down to a T. So come to the side. And we're going to do eagle arms. So your right arm is going to draw underneath your left, so your elbows cross. You can stay here and just like give yourself a hug. Or if you have mobility, you can wrap those forearms together and hands are going to touch. Perfect. Breathe in. As you breathe out, you're going to come back to that chair pose. You should feel a good stretch in your back, good stretch in your shoulders. And eagle arms, this is like a nice prep for what full eagle would be. Eventually we will do that. Your next inhale, raise yourself up, and then take your hands back slightly, that little back bend. Exhale to release. Arms come back out to your T. We're going to do that one more time. This time, left arm goes underneath the right. So elbows cross. You hold onto your back. Or take that bind with your hands. Beautiful. Big inhale. Exhale, shift the hips back, chair pose. Upper body lifted. Sit those hips back just a little bit more. Knees squeeze together, strong legs. Notice that breath. Tight stomach. Draw that navel. Yep, draw that belly in. And then inhale, tall. Taking that little release to the back. Come back through center. Release your arms down by your sides. Inhale, arms sweep overhead, palms touch. Exhale, hands down to your heart. Inhale, send your hands high, hinge from your hips, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, release down. Step one foot back, then the other, high plank. Lower all the way down to your belly. This time, walk your hands on the outside edges of your mat. So your arms are nice and spread. You kind of look like a goalpost or cactus. And as you inhale, you're going to lift up through cobra. This time, giving yourself a little space. Go ahead and release. Do that again. So as you inhale, lift up in your wide-armed cobra. And then you're going to drop that left shoulder down as you look over your right. Back through center and over to the other side. Back through center and release. This time, arms are going to come to your sides, but you're going to point your fingers back. Really draw your belly in, hip bones ground into the floor. As you inhale, lift your arms and legs, locust pose. Gaze looks down, protect your neck. think less about height, but more about length. Perfect. And release. Take your hands underneath your forehead. Give your hips a little rock from side to side. And then slowly come back to your child's pose. So hips are going to reach back towards your heels. Forehead down. You can stay with your arms reached out in front of you, or you can press your palms together in a prayer and then draw your hands back towards your head. Again, just going to open up a little bit more through that chest, shoulder area. Perfect. Continue your breath. This is a good time to take notice too. If anything is starting to creep up in your mind, remember to let it go. Keep your focus here. Go ahead and release from child's pose. You're going to come back through to tabletop. And on your inhale, you're going to raise your right fingers to the sky. As you exhale, you're going to thread that right arm underneath your left, dropping the right shoulder down to the mat, head to the mat. You have some variations you can take with your arms, so that left arm can reach out straight in front of you. Yeah. You can also take that left arm and take that half bind, so pulling that arm up and around your low back. Nice, look really good. Continue that breath. Hips high. Navel still drawing in. And then releasing, left hand down, come back through to your tabletop. And we'll transition to the other side. So when you're ready, inhale, left fingertips to the sky. And exhale, threading that arm through, taking your thread the needle on the other side. And then just finding that perfect positioning for that top arm. Do you want to stretch that over in front of you? Do you want to reach back behind your back? Wherever that is. See if you can get that openness through the chest. Using your breath. Let's take another breath here. And then release back through center, coming back to tabletop. Navel draws in. You're going to walk your hands back, keeping on your knees. Hands come to your low back. Pull your elbows in, shoulders back. And as you inhale, take a little back bend here. Push those hips forward a little bit. And then releasing your hips down to your heels. From here, we're going to transition onto our bottom, and we are going to take cow face pose. So there's going to be some variations, and depending on your flexibility and how tight you are, we'll start with the legs, and we'll work our way up to the upper body. So again, depending on your hip flexibility, you can stay cross-legged, or you can take your knees and stack them in line with one another. So depending again how flexible you are, this may be just a little too much. So just a simple cross-legged. You can also take that right knee in line with your left foot, kind of stack the shins on one another. Does that feel okay?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So wherever you decide to go, whatever feels most comfortable, just kind of let yourself sit in this position. You're going to take your left hand behind you. Your right arm's going to reach up, and then you're going to reach that right hand down your back. So your palm should be on your low back, right between your shoulder blades. You can stay here, or you can take that bottom hand and reach up towards your other hand. So depending on your flexibility, like this side I'm a little bit looser, I can actually grab my hands behind me. This is always nice to do with a strap too, because you can really just pull against that strap. Or again, just still working on that top arm, just opening up through that shoulder, that back, that upper back area. You can just keep that bottom hand down onto the mat. And this is working hips and upper body. When you're ready, release. And you're going to take that right leg, you're going to cross the right leg over the left, and we're just going to take a counter twist. So holding on to that right knee, and then taking a twist over to the right knee. Another breath here. And then release back through center. Let's take that onto the other side. So again, just switching out your feet. You can be cross-legged, but this time the left leg in front. You can stack that left shin on top of the right. Or you can try to draw those knees together. You'll put a little space between your hips and your heels. And again, even if you have a lot of space in between your knees, that's okay. It's just more do what feels good. Challenge yourself, but no pain. If it's pain, back off. Wherever you are, that right hand is going to come behind you. You're going to inhale the left hand up, and then palm side down onto your upper back. Staying here or wrapping then that right hand towards your back. And this is a pretty deep stretch.
I can't. I got nothing on this side. I got nothing.
You're doing great. Just keep using that breath to breathe through, create that space. Back through center, and then we'll take that twist. So the left knee is going to bend over that right leg, hug that left knee in, counter twist. So both sit bones on the ground. Let that twist just come from your mid-body. Good question. And then release back through center. Undo your legs. Let them straighten and then give them a little shake out. Maybe move around that fleshy part underneath your sit bones, grounded. Bending your knees. Feet onto the mat. You're going to reach your hands back slightly. Belly draws in. And you can keep your fingertips facing forward, or if it's more comfortable, you can have your fingertips facing back. As you breathe in, we're going to raise the hips up to reverse tabletop. So just opening through that front body. Keep the hips lifted, avoid that slump in the midsection. I don't know how to say slump or midsection.
Am I slumping?
No, you're not slumping. You look at And then lower your hips down. And then you're gonna just drape your upper body over your knees. Getting a little release here. Come back through center. Let's take that reverse tabletop one more time. Hands behind you. Breathing in. Feet against the mat as you raise your hips up. Belly is in. Glutes engaged. Gaze looks up. Or if it's safe in your neck, you can slowly let that head drop back. And then release down. And again, just allow that upper body to drape over your knees. Yourself a little release. So also you can take the knees a little bit from side to side and windshield wipe them out. And then last little stretch here, we're going to take the soles of our feet together, coming to cobbler's pose or bound angle. And then your preference, you can keep the heels closer to your pelvic area, or you can give yourself a little bit more space, more of a diamond shape, whatever feels most comfortable. As you inhale, sit up tall. As you exhale, you're going to hinge forward, long back, coming to your stretch. You can keep a hold of your feet or ankles. You can allow the elbows to draw in towards the knees, kind of pressing against the knees. Or if you want more length, you can just reach out in front of you. Whatever feels good. I love it. You're like, I've got to get somewhere. Please. Get me out of this class. And then when you're ready, draw back up. I'll bring the knees together. One more time, give that a little shake from side to side. We're winding down here. And keeping your knees bent. When you're ready, just allow your back to come down onto your mat. And you're going to walk your feet in towards your glutes. Fingertips point towards your heels. Taking bridge pose as you inhale, hips lift. Knees straight, shins parallel. Tuck those shoulders underneath your back. Continuing your breath. I feel like a broken record. I keep saying that. Keep breathing. Don't stop breathing. And then lower your hips down. You're going to draw your knees in together. Open up your feet towards the outside of your mat. Give yourself a little rest here. We're going to take bridge pose again. So when you're ready, knees come back parallel. Fingertips reach towards your heels, and as you inhale, hips lift. Taking this a little bit further, you can interlace your fingers behind you, further tucking your shoulders underneath your back so you're getting a deeper stretch in your chest. Just make sure that there's some space between your chin and your chest. Almost like if you had a small tennis ball that you were trying to hold in between. Good. Knees squeeze in towards each other. And then exhale to release down. One last time, take those knees in towards one another, opening up your feet. Give yourself just a little rest here. Your arms are going to come to a T, or you can put them in that goal post position, whatever's most comfortable. You're going to take that right leg, you're going to cross it over your left. Bump your right hips over to the side. Draw your knees in towards your chest and then over to the floor for a twist. Shoulders stay on the mat as much as you can. And then you can also lift that left hand over to your right thigh if you want to pull those knees in closer. Just want to try to keep that back centered on the mat. Be here in this twist for just a little bit longer than normal, so feel free to close your eyes. Hopefully this should feel good after all of our standing sequence. We did a lot of work on the shoulders, upper back, chest area, so hopefully this is kind of a nice release. Stay here for another 3 to 5 breaths. And once you complete your next exhale, go ahead and release yourself back to center. And you're just going to switch that over to the other side. So the left knee is going to come over the right. Just bump those hips out a little bit and then take your twist on the other side. Let this feel easy. This shouldn't be a huge twist. You shouldn't try to crank your body in one way trying to get the knees down. It's more about just the release and just keeping that back and shoulders down onto your mat. Again, feel free to close your eyes. That breath slow. This is when I wish we had music playing. Alright, when you're ready, come back through center. Release your feet. You're going to let your legs straighten down onto your mat. And before we come into our final Shavasana, take your arms open to the sides. You're first going to wrap your arms around you, right arm on top. Give yourself a big squeeze. Give yourself a hug. Pull against the back. And then open up the arms again, and this time switch it out. So now the left arm's going to be over the top. Big hug, big squeeze. Just felt a nice crack. And then release. Arms, hands down. Get out any last little wiggles, any last little movements that you need. Your arms can be down beside you. You can place your hands on your belly, or maybe one hand on your belly, one hand on your chest. The goal here is just to relax, nothing else. So close your eyes, be silent for a few minutes, and then I'll bring you back. I think often a lot of people think that Shavasana is kind of a waste to the physical practice, but it's actually the most important part of your practice. It allows you to get that grounding feeling, finish everything off, find that center. So try as hard as you can to just let go. When you're ready, slowly begin to invite some movement back into your body. So you'll wiggle fingers and toes, rolling out your wrists and ankles. And slowly take your head from one side to the other. With the big body stretch, reach your arms up overhead. And then slowly roll yourself over to one side, pausing for a moment. And then with ease, you can bring yourself back to a seated position, cross-legged on your mat. When you arrive, just take a couple of shoulder rolls again, like we did in the beginning. Hopefully you feel a little bit more loosened up, a little less tense, a little less tight. Let's take a big inhale, arm circle up overhead, palms touch at the top, and exhale, hands down to your heart. Go ahead and bow your head, close your eyes one last time. I'm going to share with you a quote that I read from one of my favorite yoga instructors. Her name's Caitlin Turner. She often writes really beautifully, and so I thought like this was something nice to end our practice on today. She says, "Don't forget you can start late, start over, be unsure, act different, try and fail, and ultimately still succeed." Thank you as always for letting me guide you on Tuesdays. I look forward to it every week. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Sending you love and light. Namaste. Thank you, Lynn. Have a great night.
Hi,
Till
Lynn.
next
Thank you,
time.
everybody.